Hey, back with you in the Bronx Buzz. This is going to be fun, so strap yourself in. I don't know how many, a month ago, 2 months ago, we had some guy named Greg Hernandez, and they ran a Bronx 48-hour film challenge. And we talked about it, and our producer, Stephen Powell, and I had talked about, gee, when they get the winners, let's bring them in. Well, guess what? We got the winners. Let's see, the film is NightHawk, and won Best Film, Best Director, Best Editing, Best Cinematography. What could be better? Hello to my buddy Justin Rodriguez. It's been a long time. I haven't seen you. We haven't put you on TV in a while. And Everett Hamlet, nice to have you. Two young men, and I know this is something BronxNet is very proud of. You guys really got your chops through BronxNet television, right? Justin, let's start with that before we get to the film. What have you learned? Where have you been? How'd you get to this point?
Yeah, well, I mean, I started at Bronx, like you said. I started around like 15. I was part of Teens Talk to Glennis.
Wow. Oh my.
Yeah.
15 years ago?
Yeah. I was like, ugh.
I remember all that stuff, and I certainly remember Glennis.
Yeah,
wow.
It was a great show. I mean, I started as a host, but like I was always drawn more to behind the scenes kind of things. So I lucked out. I had a few good mentors here that allowed me to use camera, come get into the directing room, start editing, things like that. And since then, I've just taken those skills to different studios, networks, stuff like that. So I've done a couple of things with Viacom, with NBC, with NBC Sports, and now I'm sort of working in the film world through a short film and a series pilot that I'm doing at the end of this month, working as an AD, and then also working as a AE on a full-length documentary in Harlem.
You love it.
Oh, yeah.
You love it.
Yeah, I could do this.
And I have to tell you, I mean, I know Justin for all those years. I didn't realize when I saw the name Justin Rodriguez, which is somewhat of a common name, I didn't realize it was him who was coming in. I remember you working on Bronx Talk and other productions, that if I wanted to get a real answer, other people who were kind of lower level, I would always say, well, let me get to Justin and he'll tell me what's really going on.
Yeah.
So I mean that in the best possible way, and congratulations on what you've done. Everett, let's talk with you. You have some BronxNet roots as well.
Yeah, after I graduated from SUNY Albany, I started working at BronxNet Television in 2016 up until 2018, and I left to finish my documentary on the New York City Parks Department. And through that, I was able to work with New Yorkers for Parks, New York Restoration Project. I worked with the David Rockefeller Fund. I've worked with a bunch of local mom and pop shops doing commercials, doing profile pieces, but my roots were set here.
There you go. And so I guess on our own network, we're doing a shout out to BronxNet Television. And Michael Thrower, who's running around here, he can't stop. He's taking pictures of all of us. So he's out here and he's part of the production team.
Yeah.
All right, so Everett, why don't you start? Tell me about NightHawk.
NightHawk.
And how it fit into this 48-hour film challenge.
We heard about the 48-hour film challenge a few months ago, and we just finished filming a remake of A Bronx Tale, Robert De Niro's A Bronx Tale. Myself, Justin, and Michael, we did The Bronx Tale. And then we heard about the 48-hour film challenge. We were like, this is the first ever. We wanted, it wasn't just a we should do it. We wanted to win the whole thing.
Well,
like, that was
let's
our
see,
mindset.
Best film, best director, best editing, best cinematography. You did pretty well. Now, so the idea was to make a film in 48 hours?
Yeah, so it was at Friday from about 5:30 to 7. We sat there. They explained all the rules, everything. As of Friday, 7 p.m., we had until Sunday, 7 p.m. to write, film, and edit a short film. And
NightHawk is what you did?
Yep.
I got to tell you something. Now, I only saw the trailer, and you're going to see it in a minute, because it's about a minute long. That's pretty powerful stuff. Now, did you have the concept beforehand?
No.
No. You literally... what was the concept, or what was the idea? It's an extraordinary idea. Get young producers to go out, make a film, be back by noon,
Yeah. Well, I mean, part of the challenge is that you don't find out your genre until that night.
Oh.
So you have no idea what you're even writing.
Oh, I wasn't even aware of it.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking, gee, you could have some stuff in your mind.
No, as a filmmaker, you have ideas in your mind running constantly, but it really challenges you because, like, you could be someone who can knock out thrillers quickly, or somebody who can shoot and write dramas, but like you might get something like a comedy or something like a silent or something like that.
And there's not a lot of time to reshoot or anything like that.
Not at all.
It's a tremendous exercise, creative exercise.
Very much.
I mean, and forces you to do it and do it right the first time.
Yeah.
You also have to have talented people around you, people
Yeah.
who can run the cameras, get the audio right, because we're
Yeah.
not reshooting this thing. You know, you got
Right.
So what was your challenge? What was your theme? What was your assignment? And then what did you turn out?
So we picked up action and adventure.
They gave that to you.
Yeah, we basically how it works is each team would go up and pick their genre out of a hat, and it was
Wow.
surprised. The minute it hit 7 o'clock,
Okay,
it was
make an
like,
action
go.
and adventure film in 48 hours. What a great
Right.
time. I love it.
Right.
Tremendous.
So
Don't forget the location.
yes. So it was basically you get a genre, you get a location, you get a prop that you have to use,
Where
and
was
you
your
get a
location?
line. Bainbridge.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we also have to include a line that they give you. And it
Which
sort
was?
of-
These pretzels are making me thirsty? No.
So the line was, they make that in the Bronx?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was it's really interesting having to sit there and create it. And during the meeting, Everett had turned to me and said, "I want to shoot tonight because I feel like
You got to get going.
we got to start it." And at that point, him and Michael had already asked me to write it. So of course, I'm just like, "Oh, great!
Yeah,
this
let's
would be
get going.
amazing!" Yeah.
Wow.
So it was basically
How exciting. I'm excited. I'm like excited. What a thrill.
Yeah, it was basically one of those things where as soon as it hit 7 o'clock, we didn't leave the actual meeting room until about maybe 8:30.
Yeah.
Because at that point, we had already taken out my laptop. We started writing, coming up with character lists. Everett was calling actors.
Yeah, I was going to say, you
Yeah.
gotta bring in some people.
Yeah, we actually shot the entire thing that evening. We wrote it from about 8:30 to about 9:30, and then we separated. Mike and Everett went to go set up the location. I went to go pick up props, and by 11 p.m. that night, we had actors, a set, and we're lighting for the first scene.
And I think one of the things, just basically hearing from both of you, one of the things that contributes to your ability to be able to do that is the experience you had. You knew people. You worked BronxNet. I don't know if any of the BronxNet people were involved other than Michael. You know, so it gave you a lead. If you were just starting fresh, I don't know if you could make it happen.
Well, we've all done it for a good amount of years at this point. It was also a really good mentality of, which is just something I think the three of us also have, is that also really believe in, is all of us have this particular strength. And it was one of those things where it was like, if we focus on that strength,
You do your thing.
you do your thing, you do your thing, and then kind of like, we'll see what we can create.
Everett, what was the concept? In other words, what was the story you were telling? Because in the minute, you get a sense of it, but you don't fully get it.
So the story we wanted to tell was the end of an era. So we were passing the mantle from one superhero to another. It was kind of a retirement party, so to speak, for a superhero and its sidekick. But the superhero was saying, look, this is my time, now it's your time.
And you feel good about it? And by the way, how long a feature is it? 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes?
I believe it ran to about like 5:55.
And they
around
insisted
there.
on 5 minutes kind of thing?
Well, you had it had to be anywhere from I think 4 to 7, right? 4 to 7 minutes in length.
Yeah.
Are you happy with it?
Yeah, actually, while we were
I'm going to
filming
make a an inference after you speak. Answer
Yeah.
the question and then I'll jump in.
I am happy with it because while we were filming with it, the way we wrote it, I can honestly say it's not the way we filmed it. We built upon the storyline as it was happening. And to make that short film in 48 hours, it's definitely an idea. If we all have the time, I would love to go back to and expand upon.
That is what I was going to say. It's like it forces you to just create, and if you get a job at at some sort of production company, there's always deadlines, and they say, you know what, this scene is no good, and we got to rewrite it. We got to rewrite it today because we got to shoot today, etc. Now you'll feel like you can produce under that pressure, right?
Yeah.
Pretty good. All right, are we ready? We've set it up enough. Are we ready for the trailer? Does somebody want to say anything about it beforehand or let it tell its own story?
I mean,
So this is a minute of the 5 minutes,
yeah.
and you guys edited it together. I can't wait to ask you the question I have after this. All right, so this is NightHawk, one word, capital H in the middle, which is like Bronx Talk with, right? And here it is. Now, and the name of the team is BronxJem, Jem.
Yep. Justin, Everett, Michael.
How easy? How did I not know? All right, NightHawk, take a look.
Looks looks like the legacy of the NightHawk ends with you.
Get the civilians out of here. But now!
Are you nervous? So here's my question. That, focus shot with the gun, and then the gun goes off. I got to tell you, I think that's a brilliant shot. I think that is an absolutely brilliant shot. And who's going to tell me how you did it? He's asking me to tell you secrets.
So that scene itself, after
I
we
hate
did
to
the,
ask, was it a real gun?
no, it was a,
No,
it was
that-
a
Plastic gun?
No, it was actually a paintball gun.
paintball, yes.
Paintball
It was
gun.
a
Yeah.
paintball gun that we took apart the canister from the back.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah.
Finish.
So after we did the dialogue scene, we were like, what's the transition? What's the transition? We have to reveal the villain. So we were like, not only is it going to be a camera pan, but we have to also bring the gun into it.
Yeah.
Right.
So then as we were just talking about it and doing that in front of the camera, we're like, oh, that's such a cool shot. So we just put the gun in front of the camera and we kept
All
playing
right,
with the
so
flash.
here's the next question then. So I know that you edit in the sound. We know that that's how it's done and all that, and if it's timed right and you know what you're doing. How did you get the visual so it looks like the gun exploded?
I mean, that's just the power of editing. No, I can't give away all the secrets,
I
Gary.
wanted,
like-
I wanted a real secret. So it just was edited.
Yeah.
Right? And three of you did the editing. One person's
Michael Thor, I
Michael's-
can't take credit.
Yeah.
Michael Thor edited.
Well, you could take the
short
credit. He's
film.
out here. You guys are on TV. Listen, what's next for it? Or that's done and you move on? Or what's next? Real quick, because we got to get out of here.
Honestly, a year ago, I made a declaration. I said, I want to be the best Bronx filmer, period.
Well, so
And
far, I got a list here. Best film, best director.
what's next? More short films, my documentary. I'm hoping a full feature that's based in the Bronx.
What about you?
Just more creating. Just coming up with more films and more original content.
And the invitation is an open invitation. Anytime you have something, this is where you got to bring it aboard to show it.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Great.
We appreciate it.
Everett Hamlet, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Justin Rodriguez, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Congratulations. Best film, best director, best editing, best cinematography, and you saw 1 minute of why. And that one shot, literal, figurative, all right, they tell me I got to go, was tremendous. Thank you so much. All right, guess what? We'll see you next week on Bronx Talk. This week we're going to talk about police suicides, which will be a really important subject. So we'll see you then. Good night.